We're recording. Okay, welcome to Bird Dogging Opportunities with Scott Travis. Today is July 14th, 2014. Happens to be my son's birthday today, so happy birthday, Ian. 27 today. Time flies when you're having fun, doesn't it? Today, the topic's going to be how time kills deals. And we'll jump around a little bit. And like I say, try and say every week before we get started, if you have a question, please answer it. Or if you have a question, answer it. Ask it, please. That you've got a sound. Hold on. So what? Hold on one second. So if you have a question, either raise your hand or go into the question bars. And Fred, I'll answer that in a few minutes. What's the take on the North Hollywood property set last week? We'll go over that a little bit. If there's anything pertaining to what we're talking about right at this second, I'll keep looking over to my side screen and I'll stop what we're doing and try and answer it right away. Like I said, today we're going to be talking about how time really does kill the deal. The biggest thing is speed on some of these. If it's good, then someone's going to get it. So we have to get all our ducks in a row. So that's what we're basically going to be talking about tonight. And if there's anything that you want to talk about, or if there's any questions that I'm not covering tonight that you would like answered, then please feel free to ask. Pete is up in Oregon talking at the women's networking conference. We're trying to get networking in with them this week up in Oregon. Ivan's back from his tour I think he was in Texas and Kansas City. So we're all back together again. So this week is a normal week. But tonight we're talking about bird dogging. So let's go. As the first one, as you look at, a goal without a timeline is just a dream. And I heard that from Pete, and I've heard it before. But if you don't have a goal in your mind, then it's just going to be a dream. You just keep thinking about it. I know I think about a whole bunch of different things, but it's not a goal of mine. I'm sure that we all do the same thing, And if your goal is to get properties, and your goal is to be a bird dog, your goal is to rehab properties, your goal is to get into real estate, then write your goal down, or set a timeline for it. Don't just say that, well, I want to be a real estate investor, I want to be this, I want to be that. Set a timeline for it. Set your mind where you want to be in a certain amount of time. Set it to have a drop dead, an end result. That's kind of the where I'm first going to get started here is how we just really have to kind of get things into perspective and to get things rolling. Let me see here. Oh, geez. I'm challenged when it comes to computers. I'm so sorry. There we go. The next one. So go without a timeline is just a dream. Get something on paper. Get something that you want to achieve. Something that you're going to get going. Write it down. Write out what. If you want to get 2 properties a month, if you want to go out there and hire a realtor, I know Diane did that. Hire a realtor. Get involved with the realtor. Have someone that's working on your team. That's another thing we're talk about tonight is team. It's real important to surround yourself with people that you trust, that you like, that you can work with. And I know we've gone over it, in the past on previous webinars and stuff. But that's really your bread and butter. If you have people that are behind you, like-minded, and with you to get going. But having a goal without a timeline is just a dream. So set a goal to at least get a realtor on board. Set a goal to we've said this too, drive a different way home from work. Just do something different and have a goal in mind of what you want. Realistically, what our goal here is to get a deal. To get something under contract, to get something on paper to say that we have the option to buy that property. And that's the ultimate goal for this discussion, and what I usually go over on Mondays at 6 Pacific time, is just to try and help you with the questions that you have, or issues that you're having, or anything that relates to getting something under contract, or the ARVs and what we're looking for when we're looking for a deal that you guys are going to be sending to us, or that you have a question on. I'm always available. I've given out my email. It's Scott, SCOTT at C2CREIA.com. I had to stutter there because I have about 3 or 4 emails. So that's how you get in contact with me. You can get in contact with me through email, Facebook. If you want to become friends, just look me up on Facebook. I have all my contact information at the end of this webinar, so that you could screenshot it, or if those of you listen on the podcast, you could just go down at the end and download this recording. It's going to be named Time Kills Deals, so that'll be up either later on tonight or tomorrow morning. So there, that's what we're here for, is to set a goal. And the goal is to get something under contract, to get everyone paid. And that's what we talked about last week, is the pay structure. And people seem to be really appreciative of that, or like that, because, people say that, well, we'll pay you, this, a certain amount. And I really don't like that structure. I know that there's a lot of groups in the Facebook and on the internet and everything else. We pay a flat rate. As a bird dog, or a commission, or however they want to word it, it's all the same. It's you getting a check from the person that's buying the property. I don't care what you call it. So I've never liked it, for the simple fact that what if we were to get a house that had $100,000 in equity in it that you found? Is it right to pay $2,000 because of that? I don't think so. I think that if there's enough money in the deal, that we should all benefit from it. And that's the thing too, is if the difference between the bird dog and a wholesaler gets the property under contract. We're not asking you to get under contract, but if you do get it under contract and you still want to wholesale it to us, we're open to doing that also. That's the one thing that I hope that I've come across this on my webinars, and how I'm going to continue to come across is we're open. I love to think outside of the box. I don't like to live in the box. I don't like to put any walls around us. I know I'm a little bit more daring when it comes to investing, as opposed to Ivan. But that doesn't mean that I'm right and he's wrong, or vice versa. It just means that I feel a little bit more comfortable. I feel like I can talk to the contractor. I feel like I can have a better understanding of what the rehab costs are going to be. Now, on the flip side, Ivan, doesn't know more about, but he feels more comfortable in the holding costs and fees generated with that, and everything that goes along with that. Like we said, I've kind of told you guys that we're all 3 independent people, and we can all do everything, on our own, but we all have more of a specialty. Ivan loves the paper side of it and knows that. Does he know rehabs? Absolutely. I like to do the rehab side of it and work with the contractors, work with the real estate agents. Can Ivan do that? Absolutely. Can I do the paperwork? Absolutely. So, if you can get yourself acquainted with all aspects of it, that's great, and that's what you're going to have to do. But for this part, we're looking for people to go out and find the deals. Excuse me. Have I found deals? Yes. Have I worked with bird dogs, wholesalers, realtors? You name it, I've worked with everybody that's been associated. Hedge funds. I just got in contact. I have a contact with someone that is a direct link with hedge funds, that buys properties, that has properties that he can sell in bulk. He sent 1,450 properties over that I know Kent, one of the guys that I also deal with, he had a buyer for it. So, I'm working all aspects of the real estate. I'm not just set in stone with just doing the rehabs. So, excuse me. So just get yourself familiar with it. But, tonight is, there's a lot to go over, but I'm just trying to give you a little bit of background. What we're doing is time kills deals. And that's and what our goal is tonight is the goal is to get the deal under the property under contract. And the biggest thing that's the worst thing for it is the time. It's a time crunch. If you're working with a realtor or working with a wholesaler, you can work with wholesalers. Bird dogs work with bird dogs. I mean, that's the funny thing about that is it's a small, it's a small community when it comes into real estate, but there's so many people, if that makes any sense at all, that, we're all doing about the same thing. We all know what we're doing. Some people just feel more comfortable doing one aspect as opposed to the other. Now, the big thing is for me is if my realtor or if a bird dog or if a wholesaler comes to me and say, hey, I've got this deal, it's like immediately, and there's people on tonight, there's a lot of, 28 people. There's a lot of people that have been sending me deals, and you can ask Lynn, you could ask Abdul, and a couple of people that are on here. It's like, as soon as the deal comes in, I will look at it right away. Because if I know that if I put it off to wait and I'm going to finish watching Sports Center, or I'm going to take out the trash, and when it's on my computer screen, it might not be an hour, 2 hours. It might not be until that night that I look at it. So I know that if the deal is good enough, someone's going to get it. So, and if you're spending the time to go out and do the research, that means that you think that there's something valuable in there. And hopefully that's what these webinars are for, is to get you familiar and to know what we're looking for when it comes to a deal. So, that's time is the big thing. So the quicker you get back with your realtor or back with someone that you have got the property from and get the research done. Don't get the property. Don't have someone send you the property and say, okay, I'm going to look at it tomorrow. I mean, that's fine if that's the way you want to be with it, but it's just not in my nature to leave something on my computer or know that there's something out there that needs tending to or needs to be looked at. Because like I said, if there's money in the deal and that deal is out there and it's on MLS, or if it's a for sale by owner and they're just flyering everywhere and they're telling everybody, then you're darn straight that thing's going to be gone. So jump on the deal as quick as you can, get your research done as quick as you can, and go at it. We got a question here for a minute. And one more thing, guys, if you also have a little hand on the side there. If you hit that, I'll look over here and it'll show that your hand is raised. I'll put you on the webinar, and you guys just talk. We can talk about it. Or if you feel more comfortable, just type it in. And when you type it in, I'm going to read it the way it's on here. So I'm going to try and not proofread it. So just type whatever you want. So this is from Wayne and Elizabeth here. We are wondering if there is a way to pull out comps from Zillow that would give more current information. Yes and no. I always say that comps off of Zillow are about 60 to 90 days at least off. At least. So that means if they sold something 3 months ago, then it's going to be 3 months from now till it gets updated. I don't trust Zillow for my comps for the simple reason that they don't update them as soon as it happens. The best comps that you're going to get is from a broker or a realtor, or like I was talking with a couple, our Sunday night group, is seeing if you can contact a realtor and become, I don't know if it's called an associate or what it is, but that's the relationship that you have to build with that realtor. Now, I have a realtor in where I'm at in Vegas and a couple other ones, but in my particular hometown, that I can get on the MLS listings after 10 o'clock because he's done with looking at his computer at 10 o'clock. So there's not two people signed on to the same name. Now, I know Dennis has 3 or 4 different computers open at one time, and he doesn't get in trouble for it. But I just know that the relationship I have with the one realtor that I work with, if he asks me not to go on to get comps until after 10 o'clock, I have no problem with that. I know that it's correct. I can do my research by myself anytime I want, and I'm usually up till 2, 3 o'clock in the morning anyway. So Wayne and Elizabeth, if there's any way you can work with the realtor and get that relationship with them to get the comps that you want for the deals that you want, that's the best way. But anything that comes off the internet they're not up to date. I mean, I haven't found a website yet that has been up to date on recent sales or comps. If there's anybody out there that has one or that knows any, please text it to me right now, and I'll give it out to everybody so that we all can be on the same page with it. But your best and your only true one is going to be through a broker or the MLS, the multiple listings section for the real estate guys. Okay. Let me go back here. What it takes. For those of you that have been in it for a while or just starting out, you're going to have to understand that this takes work. It's not. Hold on one second. Let me get one more. Lynn, there was a partial sentence. I got desperate because JC was busy. If you, and he left off. If you've been doing this a short time, or if you've been doing it a long time, you know that there's determination that this takes. I mean, it takes a special person to have the time to set themselves, allow yourself a certain amount of time in the day, in the week, in the month, to get a team together and get some cohesiveness between you guys. You can't do it alone. You can do it alone. I did it alone for a long time. It takes extraordinary amount of time. I sold my company. When I got into the real estate, I sold my company and really just cut the line. So I didn't leave myself an out. So this is what I had to do. Sold my business, was working, 12, 13 hours a day. And now I have 24 hours a day to do this. So I scoured, I hit the pavement. I got every bit of information I could, went to the seminars, paid the big bucks to the gurus, did all that stuff. I appreciate what I got, the knowledge that I got, but what I've gotten since then has been, hands-on work and leg work far outweighs sitting in a classroom, in my opinion. Get your hands dirty, get a lot of doors slammed in your face. That's the way you learn the best. And my first call to a realtor, I was scared to death. And here's a hint for you guys. If you're working in, let's just take Las Vegas. This is what I did. I called realtors in Florida because I'm never going to see the realtor in Florida. They don't care about me. I'm never going to run into them again. So I practiced on them. I stuttered like I stutter on these webinars. I did everything wrong and was told that I'm just another. I just graduated from a seminar, and now I'm trying to get the deals. And that's exactly what I did. They could pick me out of a lineup. I mean, they knew exactly where I was coming from. So, what they tell you to do and what you do, they probably have heard it, but it's just the confidence and the determination that you have is what's going to get you in the door. So, something caught. Hold on. There's a couple questions here. I got desperate. Try realestateabc.com. That's from Lynn. I assume we're talking about the comps, the recent comps. So, and Abdul has one too. Findcompsnow.com. I'll try and type those up at the end. If someone reminds me, I'll type those up so that we have them. But the first one was let's go this. It's try realestateabc.com or findcompsnow.com. Okay? So that's from Abdul and Lynn. Thank you, and I stuttered that out there. Here's another question from Ada. What do you usually say when you are approaching a seller and offering a price? Well, here's funny. Here's exactly what we're going to be going over that in just a few minutes. It's great lead into what's coming up. Hang on, Ada, and we'll get right there. So determination and getting doors slammed in your face and everything else. And I know that we're kind of going backwards a little bit, but this is just, to get you going. It's going to take determination, drive, dedication, desire, and relentless pursuit. You have to pursue these things. And the reason that I'm naming this, time kills deals, because if you spend all this time and determination and drive and dedication, desire, and all your pursuit is going to it, why would you wait? Why would you wait when you have a deal in front of you? There's no reason to put all this time in there and let a deal sit on your desk and not at least go through the action and take the action that's needed. You're going to put the time in by getting the realtor. You're going to put the time in by doing everything, and then it's just going to sit on your desk. I don't understand that, and you should not be happy when that happens either. Time will kill it. If the deal is good enough, someone will get it. Okay, that's the biggest thing. If the deal is good, someone will get it. And why won't it? Why not you? You know, and that's what you're doing it for. You're here to make money. You're here to keep everything going. You want to get this thing going. So get your homework done. Get all the questions answered. Get everything on a piece of paper. Get everything in an email form. Send it. You know, I'll look at it right away. So that's the key. And I'm going to kind of harp on that. Time will kill this thing. And if it's a good enough deal, someone's going to get it. If there's a deal out there that a realtor sends you and it just hit the market, okay, it just hit the market and you're one of their pocket people that they're going to call. I get it. Hey, Scott, this one just came on the market last night at about 10:30. I said, okay, give it to me. And this is maybe 9 o'clock the next morning. As soon as she sends it over, I go through it, ask her all the questions. How's the comps look? I mean, we have a better relationship than that because she wouldn't send it to me. This is the relationship side on the realtor. She wouldn't send it to me if she knew that it didn't meet my criteria first. And that's what you have to do with training the realtors that you're working with. So she pretty much already knows that I'm going to say yes to it. You know what I mean? Before she's wasted her time and send it to me, because she's done all her research. She's not going to let the time kill. So she sends it out to me. So get it going, get your deals in a row. And I'm kind of harping on that, but I see so many people, what they do is, I've got a deal, but I'm going to go look at it next week. Okay. If the deal is good, it's going to be gone. Someone sent me a deal and I'm going to go look at it in a couple of days and I'm going to call back the realtor. Then if you're going to wait a couple of days, if you're going to wait a couple of days and it's still there, yeah, it still might be a good deal. And it could just have fallen through the cracks of someone else, but why take the chance? I mean, you've done all this work to hire your team. You've done all this work to do the research. Get going on it. So it's just one of my pet peeves. Yes, I'm on. It's all good, Dennis. You're good. At least you're here, buddy. And for some reason, I have something caught my throat tonight, but we're pressing on. So if the deal is good enough, someone will get it. I've said that 1,000 times. I know that. Why wait? The reason you lose deals is why would you lose a deal? Because someone put an offer in before you. That's the only reason that you're going to lose a deal. Now, if you lose a deal because you didn't bid enough or the people rejected it, that's one thing. You really didn't lose the deal because if your numbers were right and the numbers didn't work, if the numbers worked for that particular amount for that house, then you really didn't lose the deal because it wasn't a deal to begin with. So realistically, I can think of there's maybe 2 reasons why you'd lose a deal, but time is 99.9% of the time why you'd lose that deal because someone put an offer in that house and got the house before you. That's it. I mean, I don't know any other simpler way of saying that someone else walked in front of you, put the offer in, and they got it. So these are just things that I'm kind of being adamant about it because time is my biggest pet peeve in anything, and excuses are the next one. Well, I'm not going to go look at it until a couple of days because I just don't know if it's going to be good. Okay, then don't even look at it. Don't waste your time. Wait until something better comes on. There's no reason to do it. It's too early. It's too cold. My legs hurt. I was up late. Well, I can guarantee you, I'm up at late. I mean, I know that I talked with Dennis and Diane and those guys across. These are people that obviously you guys don't know. Not everyone knows them, but I talked with them on the East Coast. They're up. I mean, if we're talking at 9 o'clock at night at my time, that's midnight for them. So I know that these guys are working. I know that they've got the dedication to keep going and keep pressing on. Now, conversely, if I get a phone call from Mike at 7 o'clock my time in the morning, I better be up. You know what I mean? Because that's really 10 o'clock their time. So, it's kind of a catch-22. I love living on the West Coast because it seems as though I have 3 more hours to get more work done. But I also have 3 less hours to sleep because the East Coast is up before me. So It's great. I love it. But, you know, don't give an excuse. I mean, everyone's got one. You know the old saying. I mean, it's just it's a waste of time to give an excuse, and it's a waste of time not to at least go through every effort on a deal that someone gives you, on the team, on the people that you've surrounded yourself to be great with. You know, I mean, that's what you're trying to do. You're trying to set yourself apart in the real estate, whether it's bird dogging or doing your own homes or wholesaling or any aspect of, and I'm just talking about real estate. Be the best at it. You know, I mean, I have fallen on my face numerous times. I've lost money. You know, a lot of people that are in real estate that go, yeah, I've never lost any money. Well, that's a bunch of bull crap. I don't care. That if you haven't done something wrong or lost money in a deal, then you also haven't made $100,000 on a deal either. So, you know, if you're not willing to take the risk, and that's why I think I'm a little bit more of a risk taker. I'm not saying you guys have to be, but time kills it, and don't make excuses. Get out there and do it. Hustle it. You know, there's other people that are doing it. And there's a lot of people right now, I'll be honest with you, there's a lot of people dropping off of invested in real estate. Number one, because the deals are just not as they were 4 years ago when I first started. The deals are a lot slimmer. The numbers are a lot tighter. There's a lot more work to do. And people aren't just handing you deals that have 50, 60, 80, 100, $200,000 in them anymore. I mean, there was deals where you'd push off a $60,000 deal to get $85,000. So, you know, I mean, that's when I came into it, that's where it seemed like it was. And I was just like, man, this is the best thing. But then you get a little slack on your numbers. And I will say that I've done that before. I've assumed that this is what it is. I've done a house this size before in this general area. I didn't do my comps the way it is. So, you know, this webinar is free. I'm giving you what I've done wrong and how to avoid doing the wrong things. There's shortcuts you can do, but learn the right way before you do the shortcuts. And that's what kills a lot. That's what kills things for a lot of people too, is, well, I know what I'm doing. So I'm just, you know, I'm going to just assume that the ARV is the same as this one, you know, 2 miles away. That's a bunch of crap again. You're going to hurt yourself. You're going to screw yourself. And, you know, obviously there's things that are, things happen that are beyond your control. Things happen that you can't control. They tear a wall out and you have an issue with electrical. You have a wall out and issue with things. That's unforeseen problems that you can possibly lose money. But if you make sure that your numbers are right and you pad them right and you make sure that you're covered, then you shouldn't have an issue with that. So, you know, I mean, there's a lot of work to do in this. And that's this whole webinar tonight is just, you know, keep going. Don't make excuses. If a deal comes across your desk, make it happen. Make it happen now. You know, I saw this picture on the internet, and it was just funny. Because that's me. You know, you sit there with your hands, and I'm not waiting, but it's like, you can overanalyze a deal also. And that's the benefit of having this webinar for you guys too. It's bird dogging. We do JVs. If you'd like to do a joint venture with us, absolutely. We do buy from wholesalers that have already got the property under contract. That's fine with us too. But this is a bird dogging that this is what I do after you send me a deal. I'm sitting behind the computer on the phone to try and make sure that I'm covering myself and covering yourself on your numbers. And if it's wrong, we'll have a conversation. I'll email you. I'll call you. And there's people that call me on the phone. My phone number is on every email. So if you email me once, you'll have my phone number. So and it's my personal, it's my cell number. It's this one, it's not this one, or it's not this other one that's over here. I mean, I am very accessible. Very accessible. And the people that call me know that I am. I usually answer my phone unless I'm on the line with someone else or on the other phone. So here's a self picture of me behind the computer after you guys sent a deal in. You know, with that being said, don't get yourself behind the computer and waste a bunch of time. once you have the deal in front of you, or a property. What I mean by the deal is a property. Once you have the property in front of you, and once you've done your thing, your research on it, go to the next thing. Send it off in an email. Get someone, another set of eyes to it. And that's the other thing with this call, with this webinar, is we're not relying 1,000% on your numbers. Now, what's going to happen is once you do your numbers, it's going to come to me. You're going to email it. I'm going to go through the numbers. Then from me, it's going to go to Ivan, because once again, we're checking each other. And I think I went over this last week, or I was talking with someone on the phone with it. It's like, well, what if my numbers are bad and I don't want to send it to you? Well, that's what I'm here for, to see if the numbers are bad. If the numbers are bad, I'll get on the phone and I'll call you. I'll email you, and we'll sit and discuss why the numbers didn't work out right, why it doesn't look good. So don't think that it has to be. Don't think that if you get a deal, a property, and you've done your research on it, that you are tied into that sales price or that purchase price, because that's what you're giving us to do. Okay, so that's what I'm trying to help you out with here, and hopefully I'm doing this. I got a couple of questions I'm going to go through. Ada, what parameters do you use to evaluate a deal? In past webinars, and we've gone over some of this, but the parameters is ARV, and that's kind of a jumping question that I can answer quite a few different ways. If you want to email me, I'll be more than happy to answer it, or it's in one of the past webinars, and I'll give that information out at the end also. We could talk about that we have talked about that. What parameters do you use to evaluate a deal? We'll go over that. Email me and I'll give you a call. We have on the other, I'm kind of rambling it because my mind is set on this one tonight. I can give a drop dead answer to that right now. It's usually 65 to 75% of ARV is the parameters of our deal. Now that is a blanket statement, just like I don't like to give blanket $2,000 check because you gave us a $200,000 property with equity in it. So, there's ways we could work around that, Ada, and I'd be more than happy to explain it more. But we have gone over it a little bit. Leon just asked, jumped on late, where are you investing? Well, right now, Leon, we have property in Atlanta. We're looking in Boston. I have Florida, Texas, California. I don't have anything in Nevada right now, but we're looking for teams to put in place. If this is your first time on, I'll kind of go over that. What we're doing is we're looking for teams to put in place in different markets that we can build up and kind of change the communities. And that's what we're doing in Atlanta right now. We had a field trip that we went out there for, and we have a contractor. We've got all the permits. Long story, but that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to get into a certain neighborhood that's undervalued, that took a big hit with the market, and close to them. What we've purchased is we've purchased a house for $29,000 in Atlanta. Less than a mile away are $350,000 to $400,000 properties. Now this little pocket that we have, it's $25,000 for the purchase price. We're putting $54,000 into it, and we're looking for an ARV of about 125. But what we're also doing is in that neighborhood, we're trying to buy up all the $25,000 properties and set a price point for that neighborhood. Now we know we can do it. We know that we have the ability to do it. But this is what we're doing. We want to get into those type of neighborhoods, build up and set our own price point. Set our own ARV, because once we have the first one sold, we have a solid drop dead number that we can go off of as a good comp. That's our comp. That the rest of the houses that we put in that neighborhood are going to be at least that good, if not better. So that's we invest everywhere, though. We don't limit ourselves, but what we are trying to do, we will limit ourselves once we get a certain pocket wherever that state is or wherever those states are. That's what we'll be doing. So there's that one. So a timeline. This is kind of where I'm going with this. First off is get your team in place. And what I mean by a team is we've gone over, in past webinars, show me the money, for how much you get paid on the deal. Realtors, friend or foe. And if you haven't noticed by now, I love realtors. Some people say, well, they get everything everybody else gets. Well, yeah, but believe it or not, they get stuff that nobody else gets too. Depends on the realtor. If the realtor is good enough, there's some realtors that can do HUDs. We went over that with the guys in Boston a couple weeks ago. That if you're going to go to an auction, or a HUD auction, housing and urban development, sometimes they put their houses up for auction. You have to have a broker that can bid on it for you. So the more pieces on your team, I'm kind of going this, keeping with the team aspect, is the better, more qualified your team is, the more better your the properties that you're going to be getting, the more avenues, the more streams of properties that are going to be coming in. So your team in place. Number one, I highly recommend get a realtor. I don't say just get one realtor. Here's something that we went over this weekend also, and this is not a bad thing. And I know she's going to think that I'm saying it's bad, but it's not. And we talked it through. You do not need to sign a contract with a realtor. Let me say that again. To buy a property, you do not need to sign a contract with a realtor. The basic thing that they're doing for you is you're telling them right up front who you are. You're an investor. You're an investor that wants to buy properties. Now, if you get yourself tied up into a contract with the realtor, that means that if you've signed your name on the dotted line that now you're my realtor and I'm going to buy everything through you. That's what they expect. That they expect anything that you find, whether it's from them or off-market property or anything. When your name goes onto a contract, their name goes right there with it. Obviously, they want to get paid, and don't discount that at all. I mean, everyone wants to get paid for work. I understand that, but you want to have more than one realtor working in a certain area. And I've gone over this before. You want to have multiple eyes on different properties. I have 3 that I work with tightly with in Las Vegas. And Las Vegas is a terrible place to invest right now. I don't care what anybody says, unless you're holding properties. There's no flips out here. There's some, if you want to go on the higher end, which is fine also, but that market is very small and there's not a lot of high-end buyers that are buying in here. So unless someone can prove to me and show me different, that's exactly what's happening out here. But getting back to the realtors I have on my team out here in Vegas, is one looks for one completely destroyed properties, firehouses, electrical fire, meth houses, boarded up properties, and she's a HUD broker, so she knows what's coming on that avenue of it. Now, my other people are looking for the standard homes, just regular, 3-2, 4-2. 2-1s. It doesn't matter to me what they are. I don't care about the size of the house. When I say I don't care about the size of the house, depending on where we're buying and what the market will bear. So you want a lot of eyes and a lot of emails coming to you. Look at this. What about this? I just saw this one. So get your team in place. Have a mentor. Use me as much as you can, as much as you want. It's free, and I can't say that enough for the 30-some people, 40 people that are on here right now. And my phone rings. My email is scott@C2CREIA.com. Contact me anytime you need to. We'll go through anything. So get your team in place. Find a property. That's what you got to do. I mean, that's what we're in here for, is to get the property. Check the numbers. Make sure that your numbers work. Your bed, your bath, your lot size, your square feet, the year it is, days on market, all those things. My biggest thing is on this, and we started with this in the beginning on comps. You need solid comps, and the more information you send me, like I've said week after week, the more information you send me, the easier it is for me. Number one, yes, I like that, but number two, it's once you get to doing it yourself, you're going to know doing it the right way and know which way, what you need to see where the money's going to be. And as we're going through this, I won't just stop. If you want to continue after you find a property and you want to see how the process continues to go, you'll be on there. You could see how we do it. There's no hidden. You'll see where the rehab money is going. You'll see, with the holding cost, you'll see all that stuff. If you want to learn, we have no problem with helping you with that. Know what the profit will be. And I say that in parentheses, adjustable. Now, I've got a quick and easy guide that I go by whenever I look at a property. And we'll go over that in a little bit. But know what the profit will be. Kind of in your mind, figure out where the numbers is going to be. What kind of money can I make? What kind of money can I make off of that? Let me get this. Abdul can't hear me. Can you guys all hear me? Please tell me you can hear me. The header, go to webinar show, go to webinar view, talking Pete Asmus. Yeah. Brad, thank you. It does say Pete Asmus, and we're going to have to get that figured out. He just has to change the name on that. But I am Scott Travis with BirdDOGGING Opportunities. So sorry about that. But if you call me Pete, I'll still answer. But I have more hair than Pete, and not quite as many tattoos, but I have enough. I'm just going over some questions here. Yes, we can hear you. Great. We can hear you loud and clear. Great. Abdul, I don't know. Check your settings on yours. Check your settings on your computer, if that makes any sense. And once you get all that, send the deal to Scott at C2CREIA.com. Let's go here. Quick numbers check. And this should be on all of your, whether it's an iPad, that's another thing. We are blessed with, I'm sure that 99% of you have a smartphone, an iPad, a tablet, iPhone, a Galaxy, whatever it is. There are many applications, many apps on there. There's one that I use, RealVestor. Let me just go through this real quick, that you could actually go to the house, take a picture of the house, and send. It's not on this phone. Hold on. Bear with me. I'm just trying to help you guys out here. Real estate. Home value. CoreLogic home value. And this is a great one. And RealVestor. So RealVestor is one. And jump back here. CoreLogic is not home. It's home value CoreLogic. If you go on the App Store, it's a great app that you can actually zoom in over where it's at. It'll show you the sale prices around. It's a little bit better than Zillow as far as up to date, as we were talking about earlier. It seems as though they do keep it quite a bit more up to date. Hold on. And there is a name tag on the screen that shows that says Pete Asmus. Yeah, it is. No problem. The audio is fine from here. Yeah, just a little name tag underneath my picture, my fat face is Pete's name. We'll try and get that changed next couple weeks, next couple webinars. Those are a couple of apps that if you're out at a property and you can pull up, it'll show you the bedroom, bed, bath, square feet. So you don't have to wait till you get home. So you can just do it right there from your car or from your phone. Quick numbers check. Check the ARV after repair value. I know that some people don't know. Some people send me acronyms and I have no idea what they mean. So I'll look kind of stupid texting you back or emailing you back saying, what does this mean? So some people call it different things. ARV after repair value. Get the bed and bath, numbers of beds and baths, the square footage, the rehab cost, which is going to be adjustable. If you're not comfortable with the rehab cost, what I normally do, and this is a broad, extremely broad statement that I'm going to make. I don't, on a regular under 1,500 square foot, depending on where in the country it is. Now I've got kind of hot spots that I know that I kind of use this really well. Rehab cost, 1,500 square foot, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, a minimum of $20,000. And I can tell you that I can get in there and do it for 8, and I can tell you I can go in there and spend 32. So that's very subjective. But if you send all this in with pictures and stuff, that's where I can help you and get you a better rehab number. We can get once we get it under contract, we put it out to the contractor, and he gives us a hard number. It's not a big deal. We're still under contract. We still have 10 days due diligence to get our numbers right. So don't worry about the little things, but the biggest thing is your comps. Make sure that there's money in that deal. So, and days on DOM, days on market, and comps. Know your ARV numbers before you put your offer in. Know what the properties around there are selling for. So know what the after repair value is on the properties that are in that neighborhood, which would be your comps. That's the only way that you're going to get those. Okay, so that's the easiest way to do it. Now here is a very, very quick way to get a price on your property. Now I'll try and go through this as slow and understandable. And if there's any questions, raise your hand or type them over here so that I can kind of address them, because it might be, hopefully it's self-explanatory, and I'll try and go through them. So we have got a property that we're looking at that we know that the comps in the area are 200,000, and I've just done this very basic. So we've got a property, let's just say it's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath property that's done, that's got nice finishes, decent finishes in the property. First thing I do is I back out. I go backwards on these things. So the first thing I do is I say, I want to make $25,000 off of this deal. Okay? So we've got an ARV of $200,000. Now, I don't know what the house looks like on the inside. I don't know anything about the house. Don't know anything about it. But it's a standard 1,500 to 1,800 square foot, 3-bedroom, 2-bath. I want to make $25,000 off this. I don't know what they're asking for the property yet. I don't know what I'm going to offer for the property yet. I don't know anything about the property, but I know that this has got a for sale sign on it. I know that in this neighborhood, houses sell easily and quickly at $200,000. Okay, so the house looks pretty good. Doesn't look like it's dilapidated or torn down. So I can kind of give a rough estimate on my rehab numbers. But remember, we just want to put the thing under contract. So we've got a rehab cost of 20 grand because the outside looks okay. It doesn't look like the outside needs painting. Maybe, some landscaping, a little bit of stuff. Maybe we just have to freshen it up on the inside. Maybe we could do a flooring, paint, maybe a little bit of update on the kitchen. We're not talking we're going to replace the granite. We're not talking we're going to put hardwood floors throughout. We're just talking a nice, decent, before we've even seen the inside of the property. Okay. So our holding cost, this is if our gas, electric, everything. I usually go 5% of ARV. Now, people are going to say, well, that's way too much. I always give myself a buffer. It's always to overinflate your numbers than to under, because if you underestimate it, your profit that you think you're making $25,000 on now jumps down to 10. If your holding cost is jumps up there, if your rehab cost goes up, your profit. Know wherever the money comes out of is going to be from your profit. It's not going to be from the ARV. You make your money on the buy side of the deal. That's the only place that you're going to make money. Let me say that again. You're only going to make money on the buy side. So if you pay too much for it, you're losing money. Okay? Fees. Now, I go 10% on my fees. Now, I know that that's 6%. I know that that's 6%. But I leave the fees as a buffer for my rehab cost. Now, people go, well, that's, you're mixing it's what works for me. It's worked for me in the past. It's my little system that I feel I'm comfortable with. So I'm not saying that this is what you have to do, but I'm saying that this is an easy way for you to look at a property quickly and have a number in your head of what you're going to pay for that. Because if you have a for sale by owner and the person comes out there, what if they don't know what they want to sell it for? I'm sure that they have a ballpark figure. It's not, you're not going to just put a for sale sign in your house and say, I don't know what I want for it. That's, I'm not stupid, and I'm not trying to play it off as that I am being stupid, but I leave myself areas in my numbers so that I can cover myself. So 10%, the fees are 10%. So $20,000 in fees. Now I know that they're probably going to be 10 or under, but if there's a problem with my rehab, now I know I have a buffer in my rehab numbers, in my rehab money, my holding cost. Now, if I don't have to hold this thing, I always keep my numbers in, and this is the way I approach the seller and on how I come up with this number. And that's it. I'm totally honest with these people. So my offer is 125. Just if you're gonna pull me over the side of the road and say, how much are you gonna give me for my house? I'm gonna number one, I'm gonna go on my iPad, my phone, and see what the houses are selling for. Once again, we're not taking Zillow for the know all be all, but I'm going to have, if someone asks me how much I would pay for their house, I'll be darn straight. I'm going to have a number for them. And the kick on that is I have a safety net, because on my escrow instructions or on my offer, I have a 10-day inspection, 10-day due diligence. So if my numbers are completely off, I walk away from the deal. That's it. It's very simple. Sometimes people get caught up in, well, if I make an offer, then I'm stuck with it. No, you have outs. You don't want to, I never want to put a seller, I want to be honest with the seller and be as upfront and as personable with the seller, because I want their house. I want to make money off their house, plain and simple. That's what we're in it for, and the thing about that is too, is if you anticipate a $25,000 profit and your rehab costs, say your rehab costs drop down to 10, so that's another $10,000 that goes into your profit. So now from 25 to 35, you've got into the house. The house just needs really just a good cleaning, paint, and some carpet. You can walk into houses that do that. Just because someone's lived there for 15 years doesn't mean they've destroyed the house. It may need just some updates. That's it. So your fees, I always know that I have a buffer in my fees. I always know that. So if my rehab cost goes over, that I have extra money. I don't have to take it out of my profit. Hold on one second. Dennis, you got a question. Does the holding costs change if there is no mortgage and the seller owns it outright? The holding cost. Well, my holding cost is if I have hard money lender, or my holding cost is my gas, electric, water, pool service, landscaping, if I have to sit there and do it. Those are just the things that's what the holding cost is that I anticipate. If it's an owner occupied, once they move out, I still have to keep the power on if I have to do a rehab. I still have to pay a hard money person. Now, yes, on bigger properties, on bigger projects, we do go after hard money. Do we have enough to purchase what we need right now? Absolutely. So these are just some things that I always go into. Okay. Meaning, closing. This is an extension of Dennis's question. Meaning, closing, legal, etc. Let me go through this. Does the holding cost change if there's no mortgage and the seller owns it outright? Meaning, closing costs and legal. Closing costs if the seller, and maybe you could help me out here if I'm wrong. Closing costs, if we're running it through a realtor, I still have to pay the realtor fees. So that's not in my holding. That's not in my holding cost. My fees are where I'm talking about the closing, Dennis. That's in the 10% you're talking about. It comes out of that. Now my 10% of my holding costs is my hard money lender. If I have to borrow money on it, is my gas, electric, water, landscaping, pool. That's what I consider holding costs. My fees are what I consider on the end of my realtors and anything else that's in there. Another one from Leon. Is this for sale by owner only? Do you bother with MLS properties? This is not just for sale by owners. This is for MLS properties. That's why I'm glad you guys are asking this, so I can make sure that I understand this. Let's go over this again. Holding cost is any electric bill or anything else. 10,000 is 5% is extremely high. Let me just say that. Now, it's not extremely high if you're paying, for hard money. And so there's that. Fees are strictly from the mortgage standpoint, as far as the realtor costs and anything associated. Some states don't use realtors. Some states use attorneys. So we can use those fees into both of those sections. Okay. And Leon, this is not for sale by owner only. And do we bother with MLS properties? Absolutely. MLS properties, if you heard earlier, realtors can find MLS properties, and they have a lot that are off market, quote unquote, pocket deals. Different avenues that way. That's why I say get a variety of realtors that you work with. Get a variety of people sending you deals. Use bird dogs. Use wholesalers. Same thing. I mean, there's no reason why you can't use a wholesaler. I mean, if the deal's good enough, as long as the numbers work, then it's great. As long as they're not trying to pack so much on. I've seen wholesalers put $50,000 onto a deal when it's all said and done. Me as the investor is going to make 20. So they're making $50,000. So in other words, there was $70,000 in the deal worth of profit left in it. They want $50,000, and they're telling me that it's a good deal because I'm making 20. That deal is going to go bad. It's going to go sideways real quick. Or what I'll do is I'll call him back 2 days before it's ready to close and ask if he sold it. If he hasn't sold it, he's going to lose it. Number one, he's going to lose the earnest money deposit that they've put down on it. So whether that's $2,000, $5,000, or $10,000, whatever he's put down on it, so he'll lose that. So instead of making his $50,000, he's losing $5,000. So that's when the negotiations can come back and go back and forth with them. And I'm not saying all wholesalers are like that. There's a ton of great wholesalers out there that know exactly what's going on. So I'm just checking here real quick. Okay. So hopefully, those who listen on the podcast, hopefully you can download this one and just kind of look at this real quick. And you can put any number in here. These were just simple round figure numbers that I went in here with an ARV of 200,000. You could do it for a $100,000 property. What I always do is, I work it backwards. So I don't have my offer price first and then figure out what everything else is going to cost me. I figure out I want to make $25,000 on this deal. Plain and simple. I want to make $50,000 on this deal. That's it. And with that, knowing if my rehab costs go up, it comes out of my profit. If my holding costs go up, it comes out of my profit. If the fees go down, that goes back into my profit. So it's an adjustable scale, but this is simply to get an offer into someone's ear when they ask you how much you'd pay for their property. You're not putting it to paper, but you have an answer. And they go, oh man, 125, that's way too low. Well, let me see inside your house. Let me see what's going on. Let me see what I can do. I mean, these are all arbitrary numbers that you're throwing out there. If they ask for a price right away, you give them a price right away. Okay. So hopefully that helped a little bit of just doing, just kind of going over it a little bit. And I use this all the time, and it's just something I've just kept it as a repetition in my head. Sometimes obviously if the ARV is 450, 460,000, you have to adjust your profit. And, if you need I guess what I was saying is if you need a calculator, bring a calculator. Because these were just easy numbers I could throw out on a piece of paper. So hopefully that helped you guys out. And the hardest step is the first one, and we all know that. The hardest phone call in real estate was the first phone call I made to the first realtor I wanted to work with. And like I said again, guys, if you live in Florida, call someone in California. If you live in Boston, call someone in Oregon. I mean, call the other side of the world. You're not gonna, unless you start buying stuff in Oregon, you're probably not going to run into that person again, or in Florida. Just practice. Get your team together. This is the whole thing tonight is time is going to kill the deal. Get your team in place and just keep practicing at it. It's not a big process. It just is a process, that you have to go through. And the more little things that I can help you with, and the more little helpful hints and cures. We used to do that in the company that I had. We'd always walk, we'd have a monthly meeting. It's like, well, what's a helpful hint and cure? Anybody have any? It's like if someone's running into a problem, what helped you to do it? So if there's anything that you need that I can help you with, email me, scott@C2CREIA.com. And once you email me and I email you back, you have my phone number. I just don't want to give it out right here. I mean, I could, it's no big deal. But if most of these people, 42 people, 48 people here, there's quite a few people that I contact and talk to, either via email or on the phone, all the time. So, with that, if there's any questions, I'm going to just leave my contact information up here. Contact me on Facebook. Send me a friend request. I'd love to have more friends. I need more. This last one here is a link to the past bird dogging calls that we've had. So anything that, and I hope I've answered everybody's question, but if I haven't, maybe look up the old ones, the old webinars, and kind of go through there. I hope that I've gone through as much as information. That's all I'm trying to do, as I'm trying to get the information out there to help you guys succeed. And what we're in it for is to look for partners. We want partners to going forward. We're not asking you to work for us. We want to work with you. That's the ultimate goal, is to have people. And the people that we're working with right now, if I could send out names right now, you can ask them exactly where we're at. That's exactly our mindset and our goal. And I see Dennis has got stuff. I'm going to harass you. Well, that's okay. Keep harassing me, buddy. So that's what it is. So contact us, Scott at C2CREIA.com. Facebook friend, you see it up there, Facebook.com, Scott 5353, whatever that is. And the last one is the past bird dogging calls that it is. And, just that little saying on the bottom there by Jim Rohn, formal education will make you a living, self-education will make you a fortune. And that's the truth. I don't downplay formal education. I went to college for a year, played water polo, and said that I'm done with this. I don't want to go to school anymore. Went to work for a major company in California, and then quit and started my own company. And self-education, like I was saying, learn from our experience, learn from our mistakes. It's not, it's a lot easier, and it saves a lot of time. It's going to save you a lot of time. Especially, I just wish when I went through it that I had someone that I can call or someone that I can email with a stupid question, which, a lot of people say there's no stupid question. There's a ton of stupid questions. It's just having the person answer the question for you. You know what I mean? And I know I asked a bunch of dumb questions, but there was someone there. I just wanted someone there to answer it, and that's what we're here for. That's what I've been more than willing to answer the questions. And the bottom picture is a picture of me and my wife when Pete says I got to get my face out there more. So if my face has got to be out there, I got to put my better half out with it. So I see there's a couple more questions, so I'm going to go through them here real quick. And hopefully we can go through them. From Fred. So what was your take on the North Hollywood property? Oh, hold on. Last week. Use it as an example for the crowd. Hold on 1 second, and I'll see if I can't pull it up. Thanks, Scott. Still learning a lot from you. See you next week. Awesome, Wayne, Elizabeth. Thank you so much. Scott, contact information is too light, hard to see, or maybe it's because I'm old. Mike, you're old, but it is hard to see. I tried to change that, but once you put the HTTPS, it automatically lightened it for this page. Hopefully you can blow it up and see it better, but it's Scott at C2CREIA.com, and you go to C2CREIA.com, and that'll show the past webinars and podcasts that we have, and everything that Pete and Ivan are doing. I know Ivan has a webinar on Thursday. There's the Women's Entrepreneur webinar on Friday. Pete has one. Experts Corner is Wednesday. Experts Corner is Wednesday. Tuesday, I hope I don't get in trouble, but I don't remember what Tuesday is. So just go on there and that'll get everything for you. See if there's more. And this last little slide. I know that there's a lot on here that are doing this, but and the way we started the whole thing, a goal without a timeline is just a dream, and it's true. I know that for myself, joining the 21-day challenge by Pete Asmus's 21-day challenge on Facebook, we were friends before, and I knew that he was doing it, and he kind of got me going to it. It helps. I mean, it really does help you focus on what you want to do. It helps you on your time. There's a bunch of great people in there too. I can't say enough of how many good people there are in there. write your goals down, post them on there. There's no recrimination. No one's going to get down on you. It's mostly people that are cheering you on. And like I was listening to Pete, and it's so true. If I have my goals out there and say I want, I'm looking to open up, one of my goals is to have transitional living facilities. And I'll put that out there right here. It's not really a halfway house, but it's a house for single parents, either coming out of divorce or coming out of drugs, or just a place where they can keep their family, their kids with them together, and transitioning into moving back into society. That's kind of one of my goals, and kind of one of my passions. It really is to do that. So say that I'm looking for that, and someone sees that and say, hey, it's funny because I was on the radio last week with Pete, and we had the woman from, that's where Pete's is at the women's conference in Oregon for networking. It's a women's networking conference. And she just happens to know, she just knows that someone from Laura's house in Orange County, which is a transitional living facility for women. So, she didn't know that was my goal, that was my passion, and that's what I wanted to do. But, when you put yourself out there and you put it out to the universe, you put it out to God, whatever your spiritual advisor is, and you have other people holding you accountable to it, I tell you, it's something good. So really check that out. It's Pete Asmus 21-Day Challenge on Facebook, or look up Pete Asmus, or go on C2CREIA.com, and it's on that front page right there. So that's hopefully, not hopefully, but that is kind of the end of my thing for tonight. But if there's any questions or anything that you guys have that you want me to answer that I can help you with, once again, just raise your hand or go on to the side. But if I don't see anything, I'll try and end this. So we're at about an hour and 20 minutes, hour and 15 minutes, which isn't too bad. And once again, every Monday, 6 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, we have the Bird Dogging Opportunities with Scott Travis. That's me, not Pete Asmus, which is underneath my face there. And as we leave tonight, as I'm leaving, you're welcome, Mike. You're a good guy. As we leave tonight, just remember this one. A goal without a timeline is a dream. So set yourself a goal, whether it be to get in contact with a realtor, to get a first property, to get something, to watch the whole contract negotiation go on. I'll keep you in the loop with that. We'll walk hand in hand with it. I have no problem with that. And once again, if you're an experienced investor that's out there listening, if you're someone that knows what's going on, and this may be elementary to you, hopefully I can help you with just some little helpful tidbit. So that's what it's for. A couple more, Mike. You good? You keep asking. Hold on. Let me see. Okay, Brad. In regards to that one fellow's question, if you cared to, you could space down the page, then go back up to the hyperlink address, arrowing down without hitting enter each time, and the address would not lighten. Thank you kindly. Thank you, Brad. I am totally learning my computer. I've got every Mac accessory, screen, iPad, iPod that's available. I'm driving a Ferrari, and I'm not out of first gear, and I appreciate your help with that. Fred, you asked to go into that one. Let me see if I can't get through to this. Exit show. Let me see if we have a couple more minutes here. Okay, see if we can't get this. I'm still here. No. Fred, the one in North Hollywood. Fred, do you want to come on? And if you raise your hand, I can let me see if I can unmute you, and we'll talk about it right now. Is that okay with you? Let me get you unmuted. Fred, you unmuted. Can you hear me? Fred? Hello? Okay. North Hollywood property that I sent last week. I use an example for the crowd. I'm looking for the North Hollywood property. I'm making sure if I've already sent it on to onto Ivan, and I think that's exactly where it went to, because I'm not seeing it in my inbox. I'm very sorry. If you're talking, hold on. Sorry, I'm getting here. No microphone. I'm sorry, buddy. 7-9. 7-9 at what? 628. Let's see if I can find one. Hang on one second. We've got another spot to look at it here. And 729, 628. Looking for you. It is at Ivan's desk right now. So I don't have that. I am so sorry, Fred. Boy, if you want to see a property that we went through, let me get on to, I know that Pete doesn't do this much, but I do. Go back and forth. Lynn, here's the way Lynn sets hers up. Here's an example. I don't know if Lynn's still on. Lynn, you not on? Nope, Lynn's not on. Let's see if she sent these over. Here's the way Lynn sends over properties, and this is great. This is just another way of doing it. I appreciate it because she gives all the information, and we'll kind of end on this. I'm sorry, Fred, I just don't have that one in front of me, but we will do. We'll try and get one over on how they send it over. Lynn sends it over like this. She'll send the property. She'll send the details, the 4-bedroom, 2-bath, square footage, HOA none, and it gives the attachment over here. Along with that, she'll send the comps, the recent comps for that property. Let me get in here, which really helps out a lot. So I don't know if you're asking how to send something over. As long as it's easily readable, this is the best thing. Like I say, if your husband or wife can read it and they're not into real estate, that's super. I'm going to clear this off so Pete doesn't yell at me. He has a certain way when he tags these things. It helps him to tag everything. So that's what's going on. If you could just send something over, easily readable, makes it nice. I know the end of this was kind of scatterbrained, but let me go to the end here to see if you can't get me my contact information one last time. Scott at C2CREIA.com. And the past webinars, if you want to hear or see any of the other stuff that's going on with Coast to Coast, hit C2CREIA.com, and that'll bring everything up. So with that, no other questions. I want to say thank you so much for joining me tonight, and I look forward to hopefully getting most of you back next week, and we'll move on from there. So with that, have a good night, guys, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye now.